to round out this perfect pull workout is the Angel and Devil. The Angel and Devil is like it sounds. It sounds so easy, but it's so damn hard.
Angel and Devils suck. Simon Miller, the bald a-ho here, along with Joe, the fitness mascot. He's gone, and Stanley the Games Giraffe, he has gone as well. I am a bad parent. You have been keeping your eye on fitness YouTube over the last few weeks. You will have seen that Jeff Cavalier, Athlean X, has been doing what he has called the perfect push-pull leg workout. And as a man who has pushed the push-pull leg workout from day one, I was super duper excited about this. Over the weekend, legs went up, which meant the whole program, the whole plan was done. And as always, because I have gone on about push-pull legs so much, people got in touch and said, Simon, have you seen what he's doing? Can you check it out and let me know your thoughts, even though, let's face it, Athlean X, he's the man. He's absolutely smashed it. When it comes to this scientific method behind training, he's never going to steer you wrong. However, I did want to get into it, so let's just get into it.
We have a specific recommendation on how you structure these workouts. The first is to do it in a sequence of pull, then push, and then legs. And as I mentioned in those videos, you have an option to either do them again right away as 6 continuous days of training, with the off day coming always on that 7th day. That's called a synchronous split, but I think you can run into some issues with recovery when the pull and leg workouts run back to back. Or to do what I've been recommending strongly, and that is to put an off day after every 3 days of training.
So he's smashing it already. That is exactly what I have been telling people to do. Again, I'm not saying, oh, Jeff Cavalier agrees with me. He knows this stuff. Of course he does. But it's absolutely perfect. So when we talk about push-pull legs, everyone gets the first 3 days because they go, oh, pull, push, leg, whatever the hell you want to do. Because you go, okay, I'm going to do this, this, this. But then what the hell do I do on day 4? And as he said, you can either just run it through again, but then you are risking not getting enough rest, or you just put a rest day in after you've done the 3-day split. That's the best way to think about it. So you do push, pull legs, or pull, push legs, as he's mentioned, and then you take a rest, then you do 3 on, and you take a rest, you do 3 on, you take a rest, you take 3 on, you take a rest. Now, the reason I think that works so well is because people don't put enough faith and don't put enough time into their recovery. And I understand that you want to run, you want to go to the gym, you want to lift weights every single hour, every single minute, every single second of every single day, but that's not going to benefit you. In fact, it's going to de-benefit you, which I don't even think is a word, but it is going to start to kick your own ass. You need to be eating, you need to be sleeping, you need to be letting your muscles get back to zero, for lack of a better term, so you can go and smash them again. So if that, I mean, I'd watch the videos anyway, but if that's the first thing you had seen, top tier advice.
That the number one exercise that you should expect to see here, and you will see here, is the barbell squat. And we're going to perform this as 4 sets of 4 to 6. Now you're going to leave 1 to 2 reps in the tank. However, we still want to focus here on progressively increasing our strength in the exercise.
Number 1 on the legs is the barbell squat. Goes to show. Now look, I've said it time and time again. If you don't want to squat, you don't have to squat. But are you going to be missing out on one of the best exercises there is when it comes to the exercise diary? Absolutely. And as he's got here, he's doing 4 sets, 4 to 6 reps, leave 1 to 2 reps in the tank, and increase the weight as able. Make sure you warm up before you do that. Of course, that stands to reason, but that's just good stuff. Do you know what I mean? Heavy squats, going to target the quads, going to target the hamstrings, basically going to target your entire legs, probably target some of your upper body as well. Get that testosterone flowing through you. It is simply tremendous. And for people that do not like the squat and say they don't need to do the squat, you don't always have to go crazy heavy. If you have kind of a dodgy knee or some dodgy bodies, even if you want to take it the other way and maybe do 12 to 14 reps, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Just try and incorporate it into any program you're doing.
We then move on to the next exercise, and this here I'm going to use the barbell hip thrust as my choice. Now there are a lot of good options here, namely the barbell RDL. But again, realizing that this is part of an overall split and that we're deadlifting very soon after this, whether you're following the synchronous or asynchronous split, I want to give my lower back a little bit of relief here.
So all the questions that people ask. That's why these videos have been so good and are so worthwhile. If you do want to go through them, obviously just head over to Athlean X's channel right now. Now, do I ever do hip thrusters? Not really, because I don't particularly like them. Doesn't mean that I should. And I sometimes will throw a Romanian deadlift in there, even if I have done a more basic deadlift, even though, as Jeff said, I'm going to be putting a lot of a load on my lower back. But I just know if I do that, because I enjoy the exercises more, I'm more likely to hit the rep range and more likely to bring the intensity that you need, especially when you do these kinds of high-end workouts. So you are allowed to make those things. Barbell thrusters are really good, but again, when I do them, I find them uncomfortable, when I don't like them, and I turn into a little moaning child. I'm more like, I don't want to do the barbell thrusters, even though I know they're good for me. So you can always make changes But if you've never done them, absolutely give them a try, because you may open your eyes and be like, this is like candy, whatever that means.
Which brings us now into the third exercise, and this year I like to go back to the anterior chain with one of my favorite all-time exercises, and it's the dumbbell or barbell reverse lunge.
Throws a reverse lunge in there. You should be doing some kind of lunge with your leg workout. And you know this is true because much like other exercises we've already talked about, they absolutely suck. The reverse lunge is good if you want to protect your knees, which ties into the squat stuff we talked about a few seconds ago. I personally like the walking lunge, the farmer's walks, whatever the hell you want to call them, because I hate lunges so much. I think to myself, well, if I can walk over to one side of the gym, turn around, and then walk to the other side of the gym, I kind of feel like I have more of a focus and I won't give up like a massive pansy, because I know that I've got to get to that wall and then I've got to get to that wall, right? Because sometimes when it comes to rep ranges, I think he said 10 reps there, maybe I'll get to 8 reps and go, oh, you don't do it anymore. But if I'm already walking back halfway across the gym, even if I need to take a quick rest, well, I have to get back to my starting point anyway, so I may as well pick up some weights. Do some lunges.
Which brings us to the fourth exercise here in the workout, and this is our first RW. Which that means is it's a rotate width. So although there's primarily one version of this workout, this and the next exercise are going to have an exercise that you should rotate every other time you do the workout. So the first time through, you're going to do the dumbbell single leg RDL, and you're going to rotate it the next time with the slick floor bridge curl.
And he's giving you options as well, because he wants to, well, he probably wants to do a couple of things. One, it's probably good for your body, just to make sure you are doing different things. But two, it's also going to keep you stimulated mentally. So you can do the dumbbell single leg Romanian deadlift, or you can do the slick floor bridge curl, which again, I have never even seen before I watched this video. Is it something I'm probably going to incorporate in there? No, because it looks awful. I will probably stick to the hamstring curl, even though there are a lot of negatives that come with that. I just so happen to like it. Again, it's a machine that I gravitate towards, so I want to do that. But it doesn't mean that once every couple of weeks now, I'm not going to sit down and try it, because ultimately, if you're trying to get a good pump and a good hypertrophy in your legs, and you know that's going to do it, and it's going to work your hamstrings, why the hell wouldn't you give it a go? Because what may actually happen is you start doing it, your hamstrings start growing, and because it's giving you that growth that you seek, all of a sudden you do like it. So if you hate me because I'm an asshole, but I start bringing ice cream to you every single day, I think in a couple of weeks, you're going to start liking old Miller.
And then that brings us to our last exercise here. We're going to round out the perfect leg workout with a little bit of calf work. And again, this is another one of those RW or rotate with exercises. You're either going to do the standing dumbbell calf raise or the seated dumbbell calf raise.
Finishing with the calves as well, talks about doing standing, or you can do seated. Once again, I kind of just do both. You can just stick with standing, you can just stick with seated. To be honest with you, given we know what most people's opinions of calf exercises are, and of course the comment, your calves are rubbish because they don't have anything else in their lives, just pick your favorite one and do it.
Part one here starts with our classic push exercise here for actually building strength as one of our main mechanisms of driving growth through overload, and this is the barbell bench press.
Move on to push. He's kind of giving you the exact same information for the barbell bench press as he was for the squat, because the squat is like your leg compound movement. When it comes to chest, the bench press is your whatever I just said, compound movement for chest. Completely lost my train of thought. And also, let's not, fall away from the fact he's saying to do 4 sets at 4 to 6 reps. So, it's quite a heavy weight, right? If you're getting to your 6th rep and you're only leaving 1 to 2 reps in the tank, so you're not going to super duper failure, but you're still going to be struggling with it, you are going to be lifting a lot of weight for you. And always remember, it doesn't matter what anybody else is lifting. Just because somebody else goes in there and does 180 kilograms and you're only doing 40, so what? That's where you are. Maybe one day you'll get there, maybe one day you won't, but as long as you're doing progressive overload, that's what matters. So this kind of goes to show, I'm sure if you are more of a non-novice lifter and you're sort of moving towards advanced, this all makes sense, but it's always good to hear this information again to know you are doing it right. And if you are a beginner, surely got to be good details.
The next exercise, however, is one specifically designed to complement that one, and it's a high to low crossover. And the reason why I like the crossover, and I've talked about this in many videos before, is it gives me the chance to do what the barbell bench press doesn't, and that is to get the chest into a completely contracted state by getting the arm fully adducted across the body.
Then moving on to a high-low crossover or a cable fly or whatever the hell you want to call it. He's already summed up why you do that, because you're able to contract the whole chest. Now, there are many ways to do it. As always, surprise, surprise, the way that Athlean X is doing it, I think, is best. I've seen some people kind of arch their back at 90 degrees and do it more like a fly. I've seen some people do that stood up. I mean, look, there's no point in me saying one is dangerous and one is not dangerous, because I don't know what weight you're lifting and I don't know how it feels for you and I don't know what injuries you have. But if you were confused and you'd seen different variants of it, the one that Jeff has just done, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the best. And it is a great complementary exercise to the barbell press, because you've got that good push and then you're kind of pulling it in from the sides. You're going to be working other areas of the chest. That's pretty good. I don't know whether you heard that. Scared the absolute crap out of me. There was just a massive thunder noise. I wasn't prepared for that. It's not even raining training. I can't wait to watch that back.
And now we're going to shift the focus a little bit to the shoulders. And here I'm going to go with the dumbbell shoulder press.
And this is the most interesting thing. And once more, you've got to figure out what works best for you. But he's done 2 exercises on chest, and now he's moving on to shoulders. A question I get all the time is, well, how many exercises should I do on chest? How many should I do on shoulders? Sometimes I do 3 exercises on chest before moving on to shoulders. Jeff Cavalier, smart dude, is telling you to do 2. But you don't need to get to sort of like 5, 6. I've seen some people suggesting that as well. He also mentioned about doing the shoulder press with some dumbbells, apart from a barbell, because he thinks the barbell press should have its own day, so you're working on strength. But once more, pick which one you prefer, right? You're still working out hard, and you're still going to the gym, and that's what matters.
We then move on to that second exercise, following up very much the same way we did with the crossover, and this is the 1.5 side lateral raise. Again, trying now to focus a little bit more for hypertrophy on that middle delt. And we could do it with this 1.5 rep style that increases the time that we're under tension in the exercise.
Lateral raises are next. Lateral raises are one of my favorite shoulder exercises. They give you width, and they always target your shoulders, even if your form isn't that great. Jeff, Athlean X, whatever the hell we're calling him, incorporates a 1.5 rep thing where you go all the way up and down, and then sort of the second time you come down, you only go halfway. Again, make sure you go watch these videos in their entirety to get that information. It's just awesome. Do any kind of lateral raise you want. Even if you want to do one arm lateral raise when you hold onto a wall or something and just work the other arm, that is fine. But if you are looking for width in your physique, there are other exercises which are great, but the lateral raise is right up there. I mean, I think you've already figured out by now, this is a terrific plan.
Understand, the triceps have been working through all the other exercises you've been doing so far, but in this case, we're going to go directly at them. And we're going to actually pair them up with, get this, a pulling exercise, a bicep exercise here on push day. Why? Because we have an opportunity when we pair this in the entire PPL split we put together here to get some additional volume for the biceps on push day without interfering with what we're trying to accomplish here in our pushing exercises. And that is, we start with a big push exercise for the triceps, my favorite, the lying tricep extension. This we're going to perform for 3 sets of 10 to 12 to failure, and then we're going to go right into the dumbbell weighted curl.
So he kind of spices up things a little bit there because he says do a lying tricep extension, one of my favorite tricep exercises, couple of thumbs up. But he says, why don't you superset it with a dumbbell weighted curl, which of course is going to work into your biceps without sort of sacrificing what you're going to do on pull day and not overdoing what you're going to do on push day. Personally, for me, that is something I would probably do once or twice a month. I wouldn't do it for every single push workout because I do like to be very specific and do very focused, but it's absolutely something you can do. There's no rules, right? Just because you're doing a push day, if you think you can incorporate some pull stuff without harming what you're going to do tomorrow on your pull day, then you can do it. So if this has actually stood out to you as, oh my gosh, maybe I'm struggling with my biceps, or I want my, the long head of my biceps to look a bit better, spot on. There it is. If you just want to focus on the line trying exceptions, that's cool too. As it is a more focused push day, make sure you are doing some form of tricep extension because they are superb.
And before we call it a day here, guys, no Athlean X workout is complete without making sure we pay a little bit of attention to bulletproofing our body through the use of some correctives. And my corrective of choice here is the rotator cuff external rotation.
Love it as well. It tells you to finish with external rotation of your rotator cuff. Not only is that going to be building muscles that you can't see, the stabilizer muscles, as well as ones that you can, but it's going to ensure that you almost have a protective barrier around your shoulders. And as I've said 1,000 times, if you go to the gym with any serious intent, you are at risk of a shoulder injury because the shoulder is just an absolutely crazy joint. Now, does it suck? Yes. Is it boring? Yes. But you can get in. What's he asking you to do? 3 sets of 15 to 20 reps. The only hard thing is, can you get on the flipping cable machine to get it done in the first place? Always difficult, but if you can, just throw it in.
And that brings us to push workout number 2. And as I said before, not just for the sake of doing another workout, but meant to complement what we either did or did not do in the first push workout. There are certain things I still want to accomplish here, and it starts right off the bat with a heavier focused overhead barbell press.
So obviously if you're doing push-pull legs, you are going to have 2 pushes, 2 legs, 2 pulls. So he's gone straight into his part 2, or say day 2 of push, if we're just talking about when you're going to do push. He goes back to this barbell press, shoulder press that he talked about, a few minutes ago, where he thinks you should start off your other day by doing that. And why is that a really good idea? Because it means you focused on chest when it came to push day number 1. But now if you want to look at it from what am I focusing on in the early going, it is shoulders. Again, really good thing to do because it's going to keep you mentally stimulated, but also it's going to keep your body guessing.
Now we're going to bring a dumbbell press in lieu of the barbell bench press, and this time we're going to do the dumbbell underhand bench press. I love this exercise because it allows us to actually work the upper chest even though we're in a flat bench position.
Moves into a dumbbell underhand bench press. Again, not something that I personally enjoy doing because I find it quite uncomfortable. Maybe I've just got a weird body, but he does make a very good reason about why you should. You're going to hit different areas of your chest. And always, I should take my own advice on, just start with less weight. You're not going to be doing this exercise with the same weight as you would be a barbell bench press for obvious reasons, and it is going to work. But if you just want to do a normal dumbbell bench press, that's fine. If you want to do it with the neutral grip, that's fine. Do you know what I mean? Once again, make sure you are adapting this so it works for you, but at the same time, if you want to do it verbatim, it will absolutely kick your ass.
That's right, a pull dominant movement on push day. And the reason we do this is for that exact reason. If there's any fatigue that has accumulated to this point, you're going to have a chance to offset that by pulling rather than pushing more and still working the same muscles. The abduction row is simply getting that shoulder into the necessary abduction to hit the middle delt and the rear delt this time.
Abduction row is next. He just got so much good information. Yes, it's a pull maneuver, but it means if you have fatigued yourself on the push exercises, this is going to give you a little bit of a reprieve. And as long as you get your form right, there's that key word again, you're going to be smashing your shoulders. And here we are 3 exercises in, and we do kind of have a predominantly focused shoulder workout here, but we've thrown some benching as well. But don't forget, even when you are doing bench press or even when you are doing some shoulder workouts, everything in this region is being worked because you are a human being and you're one person that's all connected.
Which brings us to our 4th exercise here, back to the chest, is the dumbbell floor fly. Now you guys know how I feel about the unsupported version of this done on a bench. I feel like it compromises the health of your shoulder and increases the risk where we don't need to.
Dumbbell floor fly follows up from that. I can't do dumbbell floor flies because it reminds me of working out from home. And I hated working out from home. It ruined my gym making experience. But Athlean X does make a very good point when you do it on a bench. Don't forget, when you kind of go too low, you are putting a lot of stress and a lot of pressure on your shoulders. And given that you're already doing a shoulder workout, you don't want to take it too far and injure yourself. I'd advocate for both, but maybe actually lower the weight a little bit if you are doing it on a bench for all those reasons and more. There's no more, just that reason.
Which brings us to the direct tricep portion of the workout, which is going to once again be supersetted with some additional bicep work for volume, but this time we're going to opt to go a little bit heavier. We're going with the tricep close grip bench press. And the exercise we're going to pair that up with this time is simply a dumbbell curl of choice.
He does this whole superset to finish as well. You're doing the close grip bench press. It's such a cool move, the close grip bench press, when you do it. This is why I love push day, right? Interrupted myself. But I love push day because you can do a close grip bench press, and while now predominantly you're aiming at the triceps, of course you're going to get some extra stuff in on your chest. It stands to reason. And then I think he threw in just a standard dumbbell curl. Again, something awesome to do. It's only going to benefit your biceps more. Just don't ruin them too bad so that when you do get to pull, you're all aflutter.
But I still want to get a little bit additional volume here for the chest, and this is going to be with the push-up plus. And the idea here is you simply go into the top of a push-up, but then you push all the way through as hard as you can.
Finishes with the push-up plus. I learned about the push-up plus a couple of years ago, and it may look basic, but when you actually start doing it compared to the push-up that most of us do without even realizing, it will absolutely wreck you. It will ruin you. If you are struggling with your push-ups a little bit, or you never actually knew about the push-up plus, always do a push-up plus when you get that extra sort of thrust into your form. It's really good.
We start with pull 1 here, and it starts with our basic foundational compound lift, pulling here, the deadlift. Now we're performing this deadlift as a 1x5. That's not simply just one set. You guys know you want to ramp up to that with 4 warm-up sets to get to 80% of your 1 rep max for your 1 set of 5.
Moving on to pull, he starts with the deadlift. I mean, what the hell else are you going to start with on pull day? Although he kind of changed things up here a little bit because he says use 4 sets to warm yourself up where you're not going crazy. And then when you get to your big 1 working set, you want to aim for 5 reps. And then basically on the 5th rep, you're like, oh, I can't pick up this bar because it's absolutely too heavy, and then tears come out of your face. Deadlifts are amazing, right? All the compound movements we talked about today are amazing. So we've done what? We've done bench press, we've done squat, we've done deadlifts, and we've done shoulder press. Incorporate them into the workout how best you can. And if you want to sort of frame it around this, I promise you it's probably going to help.
We move to the next exercise, though, and this is now the chest supported row. And we're doing this 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps. And what I like about this is a few different things. Number 1, this is going to help offload a little bit of that low back.
Chest supported row comes in at number 2. I had a personal trainer a few years ago that really pushed chest supported rows. And it is just, I so much prefer them to normal barbell rows because it is quite a hard exercise to get your form right. So when you are doing it on an incline bench, you do kind of protect your lower back. You can do it with the barbell, you can do it with dumbbells. I kind of sometimes lean more towards dumbbells. I don't know why. I feel like I get a better stretch and a better pull in my latissimus dorsi, but it is a real awesome way to do rows. And also I find your form is better When you're doing a normal barbell row, you look at some people, myself included, there's videos on the channel right now, you're not really pulling it back as far as you possibly can, but in that kind of more prone position, you just do. Who the hell knows why? Bodies are just weird.
We then come into our next exercise here, giving that upper back a bit of a reprieve, but going to a more lat-focused exercise, the dumbbell pullover. Now, there's a reason why Arnold called this the squat of the upper body. It is a tremendous way to build the lats.
Moves into dumbbell pullovers, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, I hope I remember to keep this in, did call it the squat of the upper body. It's always an exercise I've struggled with. Just trying to be as honest with you as possible. I probably just need to go back to basics with it and again, drop my weight right down and figure out what I'm doing wrong. I probably need to watch Athlean X, which I have done. But, you know, just because it would work for me, but just because I struggle with it, because I'm a strange guy, doesn't mean that you shouldn't be doing it, of course. I'm just trying to keep this video as transparent as I can possibly do it. But you know other exercises that can work your lats if you want to incorporate something else in. I mean, Jeff's going to have other ones too, but there are a bunch. So if you want to make a shift, you can make a shift.
We come back to that upper back one more time. Again, we need to hammer this area, and we do so with one of my favorite ways to do it, and it's the dumbbell high pull. Now, some might look at this and say, Jeff, I think you've lost your mind because this looks like an upright row. It's actually the direct opposite of an upright row.
Move into the dumbbell high row, and as Jeff has said there, like you can, without even realizing it, accidentally fall into a pattern of doing an upright row as opposed to this kind of a row, which you don't want to do. I'm not a big fan of upright rows at all. I think they put way too much pressure on your shoulders. I think people come up way too far with them anyway. So this is an exercise, if you've never done it before, honestly, start with some 4 kilograms or with something low weight, you know, 4, 6, 8, 10 range, whatever, and just make sure you're getting that momentum right so it's hitting your traps and it's hitting that upper back part of your body. Otherwise, A, you're not going to be achieving what you want to achieve on pull day, but also B, you may be putting yourself in a little bit of trouble. It doesn't matter, and it's not a problem if you're just focusing on form that day. If anybody is looking at you go, what guy's not lifting a lot of weight, what a loser that person is. Why does he even care?
You're going to want to have some direct bicep work. And one of my favorite ways to do this is with the bicep chin curl. Now, it's always a good idea, if possible, to do some decompression work following a deadlift.
I love that he's put reverse chin curls in there or reverse grip pull-ups, whatever the hell you want to call them. I do these all the time in my pull days, right? They make so much sense in the world because you're transitioning from working your back into working your biceps. You know, these are muscles we do in the pull day, but just naturally, you can work both. And obviously, if you do hold a bar like that, you are going to put the biceps into more of a working position than you would do otherwise, but your back's still going to be taking some of the load. This is one of the best exercises you can do on pull. People do not love pull-ups enough. I would marry him.
We want to get some additional volume on the arms that oftentimes get shortchanged a little bit in these PPL splits, and we're going to do so with a basic overhead tricep extension.
He also supersets them with overhead tricep extension, which makes sense because obviously on the pull day or the push day, we were doing the same thing. So he is just finding different ways to ensure you're putting enough load on your arms between the two of them. And also everyone likes working biceps and triceps. So why the hell would you want to do more of that?
To round out this perfect pull workout is the Angel and Devil. The Angel and Devil is like it sounds. It sounds so easy, but it's so damn hard.
Angel and Devils suck.
It's designed something that's going to complement pull 1, and at the same time stand alone with its own benefits here as pull 2. And it starts here with the snatch grip deadlift. So we're deadlifting again, but not entirely with the same focus. This is not meant for progressively overloading this strength movement.
So as we move to the second part of the pull workout that you're doing on a different day, once again, he just has the perfect complement to what we did a couple of days before this. Now you're doing snatch deadlifts where you're not overly focused on going super duper heavy and you are more focused on form, although of course you should always be focused on form. And snatch deadlifts are another one of these things, I sound like your dad now, I'm going over and over like a broken record, that are far harder to do than you think. Like deadlifts, normal deadlifts I think are easier because once again, the clue is in the name. Start light. You will see the difference as soon as you start doing them.
Which then goes right into our second exercise here, which is my favorite, one of the classic compound pulling movements that people don't do often enough, and it's the weighted pull-up.
Also puts the weighted pull-up in there. It doesn't have to be weighted again, of course. If you want to start off doing body weight, that is fine. I don't need to wax any more lyrical about pull-ups. Maybe the greatest exercise ever invented by humans.
Which brings us to exercise number 3, which is the dumbbell gorilla row.
Goes into doing dumbbell one-arm rows. Now, he does it where you do a row, put it down, do a row, put it down. I think what most people have seen is when you go onto a bench and you put your knee on it and you do 8, 10 reps, whatever, and then you switch over and do the same the other side. Athlean X is worried that it's going to be putting your body in unnecessary stresses. I've done both. I actually prefer the one on the bench, even though he is right. But you just have to be careful, right? Always be smart. And if something hurts, stop.
Then we go into our fourth exercise of the day, and this is now the straight arm pushdowns.
Straight arm pushdowns are massively underrated. Nobody does them. When you're doing them in the gym, people look at you like he doesn't know how to do a tricep extension, even though that's not what you're doing. Once again, really hard to pull off. When I first started doing them, I went way too heavy and I was just working muscles I wasn't trying to aim. But once you get it down and once you can start adding weight onto your lift, absolutely fabu. Genuinely really, really good.
Without having one of my favorite pull exercises, which is a barbell curl. And again, I don't think we should shy away from going heavy here. 6 to 8 repetitions is a good rep range to train this exercise in to build bigger biceps. But as I did the last time, I'm going to superset that with a tricep exercise.
Easy bar bicep curls, supersetted with tricep extensions. This should come as no surprise for you at the moment. This is just how he incorporates his arm workout. I don't have anything to say. Even if you're just doing a basic arm day or chest and tries or whatever, you should be incorporating all these in. So if you're doing push-pull legs, you should be doing it too.
Which then brings us to our final and favorite exercise of all of our pull workouts. It's the face pull.
And he finishes it off with face pulls, which is another great exercise just to take your body to the end of the workout, to protect yourself by also working a bunch of muscles. Nobody does the face pull correctly, myself included, until I actually sat down and watched videos like this where I went, okay, how are they doing it? And I just mimicked it exactly. Start low, move your way up. Remember, with something like that, you don't even need to go crazy heavy anyway, because if you do get the form exactly right, all your muscles in this area are going to be on fire. This is a really, really good workout. I mean, he's called it the perfect pull workout, the perfect push workout, the perfect leg workout. It's not necessarily going to be perfect for you, but as a massive advocate of approaching fitness in this way, not that it means, what does Jeff Cavalier need to care that some bald idiot gave it 10 out of 10? I would give it 10 out of 10. So if you had any qualms, and why the hell would you? Go nuts with it, man. You will have a great time. Now, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the bell, ding dings. You know other videos are going live. There's another video right there. Give it a click. That would absolutely rock. The Power 13 cookbook, the brand new diet cookbook from Greg Doucette. I am in it. Just full of healthy recipes designed to keep you on track with your diet because, again, they do taste absolutely lovely, if I do say so myself. You can use the code in the description below, Simon15, to get 15% off. Otherwise, come say hello on Twitter, Instagram at Simon316, patreon.com/Simon316, Simon.bigcartel.com. Otherwise, you have the best damn day of your life, and I'll see you on the next one.